Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, hope you're doing well. Okay, let's do a quick recap of week 6 of the marathon train so far. Week 6 is also the last week of the 6-week endurance train block before we move on to the 5-week lactate threshold and endurance train block. It's also technically a recovery week for me. Okay, so Monday was 11Ks of recovery. I did it on grass at Bankstown City Sports Complex. 11Ks felt a bit odd after getting so used to doing like 10K recoveries on Mondays. Plus, it's the only Monday recovery in the entire 18 weeks train plan that is 11Ks. I'm not really sure why it's like that, but yeah, it went okay. Tuesday was a 13K general aerobic run with some speed work at the end, so that was like around 10 by 100 meter strides. I did around Riverwood and also did a bit of exploring around the local streets of Nawi. I think it's kind of interesting to see how different the layout of the neighboring suburbs are compared to my own one, but anyways, the run felt fairly solid overall. Wednesday was a 21km medium long run. I did it at the Salt Pan Creek Reserve. That morning was probably the first proper cold morning in autumn so far. I think it's probably why I was sweating a bit less and was feeling a bit stronger than usual. I did try to maintain the same effort as usual, but on paper the run turned out to be faster than expected, which is nice, but at the same time I have to be careful not to like overdo it as well. Thursday was 10km recovery on grass, again at Bankstown City Sports Complex. It was another nice and cool morning again, yeah, so no dramas really. Friday was a 16km general aerobic run around Riverwood and Paso Heights. I normally don't go on the hillier route on my general aerobic runs. Sometimes I will during my medium long runs, but anyways, I just took a bit easier up the hills as to not overdo it, and it went fairly okay, although my old pair of speeds are starting to feel quite worn out. I'm just pretty glad I'm not wearing for my actual medium long runs anymore. Saturday was 10km of recovery at the usual Rhodes Park run. Took it fairly chill and controlled overall. I only managed about 8km in total instead of the usual 10km, but yeah, it should be fine I guess. And then finally Sunday was a 26km long run. I did it around M5 Linear Park in Riverwood. I had some other plans later that morning, so I wasn't too keen on going too far from my place, so I basically just combined two of my usual local medium long run routes. I took it mostly chill and controlled and felt fairly solid throughout. Overall, the total mileage for week 6 was about 108km, and I think for a recovery week it went fairly well. I think part of it has to do with the morning slightly getting colder these days. I definitely have to take a bit more time to warm up and then slowly ease into my runs. Next week will be the start of the lactate threshold plus endurance train block, which goes on for 5 weeks, and that probably means things will start to get slightly tough again, so I think it was a good idea to take it fairly chill and controlled for this recovery week I guess. Anyways, this is kind of random, but I kind of want to talk about how we tie our shoelaces. So growing up, we all learn how to tie our shoelaces, right? Such as with the bunny ear method for example, but I'm sure most of us have had our shoelaces like come undone for seemingly no reason every now and then. I think if our shoelaces are tied, then it's technically not wrong, but there's actually a proper and more secure way of tying our shoelaces. The idea is that when you tie the shoelace loop into the final bow, it shouldn't sit from heel to toe, but rather symmetrically from side to side, if that makes sense. I guess I'll quickly demonstrate. So for example, I have my shoes here. I haven't tied my shoelaces yet. So let's start with the starting knot. And then we move on to the finishing bow, which is like the bunny ear method or whatever. Alright. If I just tighten it and then just wiggle for a bit, look at how it sits. It's kind of crooked. It's actually going from heel to toe rather than being balanced on the side like that. Now if your shoelaces look like this, chances are it's not that secure. It's called a grey knot. I'm not really sure why, and I don't know the exact science or physics behind it, but simply put, the knot is unbalanced, and so it's not self-secure, which means it may come undone when certain pressure or movement is applied from the foot to the shoe, for example from running, such as when going up and down hills doing fast runs. Over time this is not secure, so it'll probably come undone pretty easily. To overcome this, you can technically just do a double knot I think, so like, you know, like that, but that might add more pressure on top of your foot depending on how tight you actually tie your shoelaces, or maybe the shoelace length isn't enough for it, for example. Now if you want to tie the shoelaces properly with a single knot, we have to balance the lacing, and the way we do it is to simply reverse either one of the starting knot or the finishing bow, but not both. So for example, I'll try to reverse the starting knot and then do the finishing bow the same way I've always been doing. So for example, this is now the reverse of what I've always been doing, and then I'll do the finishing bow the way I always do it. And see how it sits side to side now rather than like crooked like that. If I just like let it relax like this, it looks balanced, right? I'll try again the other way as well. So let's say I do the starting knot like that, then I have to reverse the finishing bow, so like that, and then it's balanced like that. See, it doesn't sit like this to this naturally, it just sits side to side. But yeah, just give it a try. Like if you always tie your shoelaces and it ends up being like the wrong way, you know, where it sits crooked like this, just reverse one of the steps. So for example, if I kept the starting knot like this, I'll have to like, rather than just doing that, I have to like reverse it or do the other way, and see how like it's more even now, you know. Or take the whole thing and reverse the starting knot and then do the same finishing bow that you've always been doing for years, you know. Like that, right? And this is the proper knot, which I believe is called a reef knot or a square knot. It's also sort of self-secure because the more pressure is applied from your foot to the shoe, the tighter the knot gets and stays. It's like this will probably never come off unless it rips. You know what I mean? And this should be almost permanently secure unless it gets caught up on grass or bush doing trail runs, I think. In which case you can do a double knot if you want, you know, or explore some more secure lacing techniques. But if you're like me and you mostly run on pavement and roads, it literally won't come undone. Like I've done so many runs now at like slow and fast speeds, up and down hills, doing races, all with a single balance knot, and it's never come undone. Although it might not be secure on certain shoelace materials, I think. Definitely give it a try and see if it helps. And if you're curious to find out more about lacing techniques, definitely check out a website called like Ian's Shoelace site for more info. I've linked it in the description below. Anyways, when it comes to other running specific lacing techniques, there's many resources out there, but a cool one I've looked at in the past is from the ASICS website online. It goes through a few lacing techniques to help improve comfort and fit that supports your foot type and running style, depending on whether you get like heel slippage, painful toes, whether you have like high arches, wide forefoot, narrow foot, wide feet overall, and even like high midfoot. I've only really tried the heel lock lacing. I have slightly wide feet with high volume forefoot, so sometimes I have to go like a half size or even like a full size up from my usual shoe size. And so heel lock lacing has definitely been a game changer for me personally, because it means my ankle is now securely held within the shoe rather than just sliding around, which may cause blisters. I might also have to try the single helix lacing in combination with the heel lock lacing for my speed freeze, since I do get numb toe towards the end of my long runs sometimes. But definitely feel free to like explore some lacing techniques and see if it helps in any way. There's a chance it may not fix or change anything, but I still reckon it's worth a try, especially if you have some like slight comfort or fit issues that aren't too related to like shoe sizing, such as like length and width for example, which is likely a separate issue that probably can't be resolved with just different lacing techniques. And then finally, let's go over some other shoelace considerations. Firstly, we have different materials for shoelaces, such as like cotton, polyester, nylon, wax cotton, and even elastic for example. There's probably a bunch of other shoelace types and materials, but those are some of the ones I've come across personally. Cotton is probably the most common material, I think. It's cheap and widely available and like comes in like plenty of colors and designs. Polyester laces are more durable and water resistant than cotton. I think most running shoes come with laces that use cotton or polyester. Nylon is even more durable than polyester. They're thick and quite tangle resistant, and you'd probably see them more on like hiking boots rather than running shoes. Wax cotton is simply just cotton with a layer of wax coating, which gives it much more durability and a more secure hold than regular cotton. Although they do feel kind of sticky and might be hard to adjust when they're brand new, but they break in nicely as the wax softens a bit over time. I don't think I've ever seen them come stock standard with a running shoe. They're more like for dress shoes, I think. With elastic, I think they're more for like no tie shoelaces, such as like lock laces for example. They're fairly durable and seems to provide a more even pressure from the lacing on top of the foot. No tie shoelaces also make it easier to put on and take off your shoes, while still providing a decently secure fit. They might also be a game changer if you have slightly wide or high volume feet, since it is elastic and stretches a bit but still holds tension fairly well. And then there's also the length of the laces. Sometimes our shoes come with laces that are a bit too long. I haven't really had this issue with my shoes personally, but if I did, I'd probably just do an extra knot or like tuck it in somewhere. Other times the laces are too short to do like double knot or like heel lock lacing for example. If that's the case, don't be afraid to get like a long one separately at like a sports store or like somewhere online, or even just swap out the laces from your old shoes. From experience, I find that the stock laces from most of my running shoes outlast the rest of the shoe in terms of durability. Fit and comfort is pretty important when it comes to running, so it's always worth taking some time to experiment and see what works better for you. From having your shoelaces come undone randomly to not being able to get a secure fit and so on, it's not a bad idea to try different methods of tying your shoelaces, or even like try swap them out, as it could be a game changer for your running experience, or even the missing piece of the puzzle for a shoe that you might be able to get along with better if not for the stock lacing. Anyways, I hope all of that has been helpful in some kind of way. That's pretty much all to say for now. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. Bye.